Tonight on News 3 New Mexico, we have updates about what's going on at the southern border.
Is the snow and rain here to stay? Find out my full weather forecast.
And we'll have details on a new business in Portales. News 3 New Mexico starts right now.
This is News 3 New Mexico, your local source for news, sports, and first weather.
Good evening and welcome to News 3 New Mexico. I'm Landry Senna. Well, we are happy to report that there are currently no counties in New Mexico in the red for COVID case numbers. Curry has bumped up to green, while here in Roosevelt County, we have advanced to the top tier of turquoise. Today's release showed 13 turquoise counties, 10 green counties, and 10 yellow counties. This change means that these counties can immediately operate under green restrictions, which include 50% capacity at essential retail spaces and most businesses, 50% capacity at houses of worship and dining, at 50% indoor capacity and 75% outdoor. Curry County Prep Sports can allow spectators at 25% indoor and 50% outdoor. For Roosevelt County, turquoise restrictions include 75% capacity at essential retail spaces and most businesses, 75% capacity at houses of worship and dining, at 75% capacity outside and inside. A gunman opened fire in King Soopers grocery store, leaving 10 people dead, including one police officer in Boulder, Colorado, Monday. Police have identified a 21-year-old man by the name of Ahmad Al-Aliwi Alisa as the alleged shooter. Investigators have not established a motive but believe that he was the only shooter. According to the Boulder County District Attorney, Alisa is set for an appearance on arrest warrant Thursday, March 25th at 8:15 a.m. The officer killed has been identified as Eric Talley. He was 51 and had been in the service since 2010. Tragically lost, we remember the other 9 victims as Trelona Barkowiak, Susanna Fountain, Terry Leiker, Kevin Mahoney, Lynn Murray, Ricky Olds, Nevin Stanisic, Denny Strong, and Jody Waters. We will keep you updated as more information is made available. The Biden administration had closed the southern border to migrants, but are making exceptions for unaccompanied minors. As of Sunday, there were almost 5,000 unaccompanied children in the Border Patrol custody and over 800 in custody over 10 days, which is past the 3-day legal limit. After 72 hours, unaccompanied children are to be turned over to the Department of Health and Human Services. CNN reported case managers, attorneys, and Border Patrol agents that said children are alternating schedules to make space for one another in confined facilities, and in some cases haven't seen sunlight in days. They are taking turns showering and often going days without one. The Biden administration is establishing new facilities, but have not given a timeline when they will be up and running. The New Mexico Department of Health announced the launch of an exposure notification system yesterday. The app is downloadable on your smartphone and will alert you when you have been exposed to someone who has verified that they are infected with COVID-19. NMDOH Secretary Dr. Tracy Collins said, "This is a powerful tool in the fight to stop the spread of COVID-19. In combination with the vaccination, testing, and continued COVID-safe practices, this app will help contain COVID-19 and protect New Mexicans. The app is a first of its kind created by Apple and Google. If one user verifies an infection of COVID-19, all users that have been in contact with the person infected within a 14-day will receive a notification of possible exposure. Then it directs users on the next step to prevent spread." The NMDOH claims the app is completely safe and anonymous and protects users' privacy. To learn more about the NM Notify exposure notification app, you can visit nmnotify.com. Well, Owen, it was an interesting sight today as we looked out and we saw snow falling in late March, just about. So what does this mean for the rest of the state, and can we expect more?
Well, it means that Scott's weather report was accurate, and let's go ahead and look to the maps to see what we can expect state-wise here. So, looking over here, we can see that earlier today we were expecting some snowfall here in the eastern plains, but that's been updated to not likely. There's a 30% chance, but don't count on it. but we do have a winter weather advisory for Grant, Otero, and Sierra here. So do be aware if you live in those counties that you might be not able to drive into work tomorrow here with some 2 to 4 inches of snow accumulation here. So be on the lookout for that. Back to you, Landry.
New Mexico is getting $1.6 billion in federal aid from the $1.9 trillion relief package President Biden approved earlier this month. The New Mexico legislature is asserting its budgetary authority over $1.6 billion in the new federal aid. The money will be used in large for economic recovery. Over a third of it has been funneled into the state's unemployment trust fund. The other billion is planned to be used on initiatives that avoid future payroll tax increases on businesses, the lottery scholarship, and lost income from being closed a majority of 2020 at historic sites and state parks, as the legislature assigns the money. The state legislature is currently in the process of assigning where those funds will go. New Mexico residents that live within the 505 or 575 area codes are changing from 7-digit local dialing to mandatory 10-digit local dialing. The change comes as the FCC approved the designation of 988 as the 3-digit abbreviated dialing code of the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Now, it is requiring all telecommunication carriers to make any network changes necessary to ensure users can dial 988 to reach the existing National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. On October 24, 2021, to be able to complete local calls, the new dialing procedure requires callers to dial the area code plus the telephone number, meaning calls in the entire 505 and 575 that are currently dialed with only 7 digits will now have to use the area code as well. In regards to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, you must continue to dial 1-800-237-TALK to reach the lifeline. Dialing only 988 to reach the lifeline will begin July 16, 2022. If you have any questions about the dialing procedure change, you can contact your local service provider or visit the FCC website at the bottom of your screen. Adventure Vision is setting out to bring vision care to children in more rural areas in New Mexico. With the help of the state government agencies, they found that Clovis was the #1 area in need for vision services for children on Medicaid. If you are uninsured, Adventure Vision has partnered with the New Mexico Lions Operation Kids Site program, who will provide free vouchers for any child that is not currently covered by Medicaid to get an eye exam and glasses. The first vision care days are scheduled for March 30th and 31st and April 13th and 14th at the MAT 25 Hope Center in Clovis. Families can schedule an appointment by calling 575-440-0443 or visiting the link provided on your screen. We'll have weather with Owen after this break, but first, here's a look at today's financial market.
Welcome back, New Mexico. And hey, if you're watching outside of New Mexico, it's okay. I won't tell, all right? But let's go ahead and jump into the weather here. So we can see that we're consistent to about 40 to 30 range here throughout most of New Mexico, except for you lucky sons of a guns down here in the south, 48 in Las Cruces, 48 in Carlsbad, and 52 in Hobbs. You guys are the winners today here. And then it's going to be in the eastern plains here. We're looking at 35 in Clovis, 34 in Portales, and 39 in Roswell. But we can expect tonight, it's actually going to stay, earlier it was telling me that it was going to get down below freezing, but good news, looks like we're not going to have that happen. Nobody's dripping their faucets. Here in the Central Mountains, we're looking at 29 in Santa Fe, 34 in Albuquerque, and 33 in Santa Rosa. And in the Eastern Plains here, we are looking at 34 in Clovis, 37 in Portales, and my favorite spin, 39 in Roswell here. But we have good news. It's going to go right back to some nice warm weather here tomorrow, except for maybe some people up here in the Northwest, I'm sorry to report, but it's still 50 in Farmington, 45 in Gallup, an improvement. And then looking over the Central Mountains, 50 in Santa Fe, 52 in Albuquerque, and 54 in Santa Rosa. And Down here with us, we've got 61 in Clovis, 62 in Portales, and 67 in Roswell. I'm excited, honestly. Now, 7-day forecast. Let's check that out, all right? So, for Carlsbad, really all you can expect is some clouds occasionally covering up your sun there throughout the week, but you're going to be starting out in the 70s and just a little dip into 66 on Sunday. I think you guys will be able to survive it. And then in Tucumcari, you guys are going to be getting quite a bit of wind there Thursday, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. And that is the price of New Mexico there. Looking at Roswell, we can see, once again, lots of sunshine with just some occasional intermittent clouds there, staying in, gosh, what is that? The lowest it gets there is 69 there on Sunday and then 68 on Wednesday. That's nice. And finally, Portales. We're on the low side here. We're getting lots of sun, but we are just barely getting up to 75 there on Monday with a high on Tuesday of 80, but then right back into our 60s range there on Wednesday.
Well, Owen, I feel like I say this every week, but it seems like New Mexico has to throw some curveballs our way, especially in the spring season and transitioning into that. So hopefully maybe that all that wind that's coming is blowing in the warmer weather. I can only hope.
It keeps us active
Yes.
up into old age, but yeah, expect some warmer weather, folks.
Yes. Well, thank you, Owen, for the weather update. We will be back right after this break. Not too long ago, I got the chance to speak with the owners of the Milk Shed here in Portales, which is a new business. A new coffee shop that has been in the making for several years is now open. The Milk Shed takes the term from farm to table and makes it a reality, while also giving Eastern New Mexico a taste of the Dutch culture.
I'm the ninth generation dairy farmer. I originally grew up in Holland. In 2003, we immigrated to the United States. Yeah, and we always had a passion for cows. There's a little bit of a Dutch corner, a little bit of a taste of, I guess, my heritage a little bit.
We actually have a large Dutch community, so we've gotten really great feedback.
Yoron and Tracy sell a variety of menu options, all of which are made with only New Mexico products.
We had this goal of bringing our dairy's fresh milk and yogurt to consumers without distribution. So we decided direct retail was the best option. And a great option for that was a coffee shop.
We're really trying to get the product from the agriculture sector straight to the consumer.
We've got local products including sodas. We do have our own beef that was grown at our feed yard. We've got lots of a big selection of New Mexico products you can't find anywhere else.
The process of opening took longer than expected, but this month they were finally able to open their doors.
2020 was the year that we started renovating the building. Our main goal was first set to be open by December. And since we're jumping in with 2 cold feet into the water, I mean, we're kind of, you're trying to make the best that we can, and it's kind of from December it went to January, and from January it went to February, and it's kind of, March, yes, finally. So it took a lot longer than we anticipated it would. I want to create a place for the customers that they can be relaxed at, and just, it needs to be a place that, like, just sit down, have a relaxed atmosphere.
When doing our training with our customers, one of our biggest priorities was to create this atmosphere that is Hazelic. So it's a feeling of togetherness in a cozy, comfortable atmosphere. There's not an English word that describes this, but this is the perfect Dutch word that we wanted to offer our customers. And also, the other thing that keeps us going day in, day out is we've got 3 little kiddos that we really just want to show them the possibilities.
For News 3, I'm Landry Senna. If you've ever thought about auditioning for a televised talent show, this may be your sign to give it a try. News 3's Marilyn Upchurch spoke with an NMSU student who took his chances and won the golden ticket.
A New Mexico State University student and Las Cruces native is headed to Hollywood.
So my friend was auditioning for American Idol. He's like, hey, join the Zoom call. It's open call. Chances are pretty low, but hey, just do it. And I think I was on the Zoom call for 2 hours, and finally they're like, okay, we will let you know in a month if you get an audition in front of the judges.
After waiting for a response, he got an email telling him he had the chance to audition in front of judges.
It was very surreal, to be honest. I remember watching the show as a kid, like every other person on the show, of course, but watching it on TV and then actually being there on the little platform that says American Idol, and then you're seeing the judges, it's definitely a different feeling. Got that golden ticket. I got 3 yeses. I'm really grateful for that. And we'll see what the journey has in store.
From singing in local Las Cruces bars, farmers markets, and coffee shops, he's now on his way to stardom.
There are 3 wooden crosses on the right side of the highway. Why there's not 4 of them, heaven only knows.
He's on a contract with the Air Force ROTC, but afterwards he plans to pursue a music career, and one day run a farm. And to those who want to audition one day as well,
The worst that can happen is you fail once, and from there you can use that failure and keep improving. Just keep pushing forward, and regardless of the outcome, do it. Like I said, the worst that can happen is you say no or you fail, so might as well go for it.
Marilyn Upchurch, News 3 New Mexico.
That is all the news we have for you right now, but make sure you stay tuned after the break and we'll have some sports with Kiki.
Welcome back, sports fans. I'm Kitana Sapinger, here to bring you all the latest in local and national sports. Softball was on the road last weekend and they played Texas A&M International in a doubleheader. Let's go ahead and break down Game 1 because the Dust Devils put up 11 home runs while the Greyhounds couldn't execute any. After the first inning, it was a 1-0 game. Then there were 3 more runs in the bottom of the second, with a solo run from Brianna Arredondo in the 4th inning, extending their lead to 5-0. In the bottom of the 4th, the Dust Devils added 6 more runs, now making the score 11-0. Erica Cortez had a solo homer, and then Arredondo finished it off with a grand slam. To top all that off, Dust Devils pitcher Erica Cortez played the first ever perfect game in Dust Devils history. She struck out 9 batters and did not allow a single Greyhound hit, walk, or run, or opportunity to get on base. It's safe to say the Dust Devils' performance this weekend did not disappoint. Unfortunately, softball's games this weekend against St. Mary's and St. Ed's have been postponed. The makeup dates for these games will be announced at a later time. However, they will be back on the road April 9th at Oklahoma Christian and on April 10th and 11th at Cameron University. Speaking of softball, it was announced recently that head coach Kira Zeider has resigned. She was fairly new to Eastern as she began her head coaching position in 2019. In her first season here, the Greyhounds finished with a 12-30 record and an 8-22 conference record. Then, just last year in her second season that was cut short due to COVID, the team was at an 11-8 record overall and a 5-1 conference record. Athletic Director Matt Billings said, "We thank Coach Zeider for her leadership over the last few seasons and wish her the best as she moves on to future endeavors." The athletic department will announce an interim head coach at a later time. Before spring break, I went over the NCAA Top 10 men's basketball teams as March Madness was about to begin. Since then, the numbers have changed, but more importantly, the women's basketball March Madness tournament has begun. However, there is some controversy going on within the NCAA that has gained quite a bit of attention. On Friday, March 19th, University of Oregon women's basketball player Sedona Prince posted a TikTok showing the weight room that the women's teams were given in San Antonio versus what the men's teams were given in Indianapolis. Just a few yoga mats and 1 rack of dumbbells that only went up to 30 pounds. The men's teams, on the other hand, have multiple squat racks, spike machines, some cardio equipment, and a full array of dumbbells. Prince said the NCAA claimed that money was not the issue, it was the amount of space that was the problem. She then shows in the video there was more than enough room for a full weight room. Other comparisons have also been made regarding the men's and women's swag bags and the food provided to teams from the NCAA. Many people spoke about these differences between tournaments, but a statement that really caught my eye and grabbed the attention of the NCAA is from Georgia Tech's women's basketball head coach, Nell Fortner. She wrote a letter to the NCAA starting with, "Thank you for using the 3 biggest weeks of your organization's year to expose exactly how you feel about women's basketball, an afterthought." Then ended the letter with, "For too long, women's basketball has accepted an attitude and treatment from the NCAA that has been substandard in its championships. It's time for this to stop. It's time for women's basketball to receive the treatment it has earned. Thank you for the exposure." Within a very short amount of time, the NCAA provided the women's programs with a more efficient weight room and better equipment. The women's tournament is currently in the second round of competition. Best of luck to the remaining teams in the tournament. That's going to wrap up all the sports I have for you, but make sure to stay tuned and we'll be back right after this break.
Well, heading into the rest of this week, we want to go ahead and take one last look at that weather that you have for us, Owen, and the 7-day forecast.
Just in case you missed it, folks. Let's go ahead and check it out over here. So, oh goodness, folks, I'm so sorry. I can't see my maps here. Looking over, I need my binoculars over here. Yeah, it's going to be fairly warm here throughout most of the week, staying in the 60s, peaking next Monday with 75. But just expect some clouds and just some moderate weather. It's going to be real nice, honestly.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Owen, and that is all the news that we have for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you tune in on Friday.